Hello everyone, my name's Alex. I'm from Cornersmith in Sydney's Inner West. We have a cafe and a cooking school, and I've recently just written a book called Use It All. This book's a sustainable guide on how to make sure that you use everything that you have at home, that you reduce your food waste at home, reduce plastics, and make sure that everything gets used up. Today I wanted to show you some recipes from that book, and it's all about using up one whole ingredient. We're really encouraging people when they're at the shops or the supermarkets to buy whole ingredients, to not buy portioned things that have been wrapped up in plastic, and then to really understand how to use that ingredient so that none of it ends up in the bin. I also want to show you how to use the most of wrinkly vegetables, how to use the tops, the skins, and all those parts that often just get thrown away without thinking about how much flavour is actually in them. So the pineapple. The pineapple is such an awesome ingredient in summertime. Those pineapples are in season now, and they're a really lovely thing to cook with over the festive season. We teach you how to make a syrup out of the skins so that you can drizzle it on top of the cake. It's a syrup that you could use in cocktails, you could use it in to have over desserts, you could use it in marinades for meats, you could pop it in some soda water for a summer spritz. So it really is about using up the entire thing. These so easily just get thrown into the bin because they are gnarly and they're not a delicious thing to eat, but they have so much flavour in them, and that's got to do with the flavour in the skin, but also with how much pineapple flesh is often left on there as well. So what we're going to do is turn this into a cocktail syrup or a dessert syrup. You just pop your skins into a small pot. If you had one pineapple or two pineapples or four pineapples, however many you have is fine to use. You pop them into a pot that suits the shape. We're going to cover that with water. I've got about 2 cups of water here, and that just goes in the pot as well. And then on top of that, we're going to add sugar. I'm using caster sugar today. If you wanted to use a little brown sugar, that would be really nice, or raw sugar as well. And what that's going to do is just deepen the flavour a little bit. So the sugar goes in, the pineapple skins are in there, and the water's in there as well. And then we're going to add a little bit of flavour. Because it's coming up to Christmas, I like to use warm spices. So today I've got some cinnamon sticks, some peppercorns, and some allspice. You could also use things like clove, star anise would be lovely. A couple of slices of ginger would be really nice in there. So go and have a look in the spice cabinet and see what you've got. Don't feel like you have to rush out and buy the exact spices that I've recommended. Just lovely warm and mulled kind of spices work really well. So then we're going to turn the heat on there. And what you need to do is just dissolve the sugar. You're kind of making a sugar syrup really and flavouring it with pineapple. If you had the core of a pineapple left, you could chuck that in there as well. And the other great thing about this recipe is that you could also do it with mango. So keep your mango pips and keep the skins and chuck them in. You could combine mango and pineapple together, or you could just do mango. The other flavours that are really nice are things like mint. So if you had picked all your mint or your basil, then you can chuck just the stems in there, and they're going to release lots of lovely flavours as well. Once that sugar is all dissolved, you're just going to bring that up to a slightly higher temperature and let that boil. And we're looking for a slightly thickened sugar syrup but still has a really nice pouring consistency. This is a syrup that is so nice poured over ice cream, or if you've got chilled mangoes, chop those up and then drizzle that on top as well. If you're just feeding grown-ups and not children, some chili flakes or a little bit of cayenne and a pinch of salt would be really lovely in that as well. So I'm just going to let that come up to the boil. We're going to let that simmer away. As you can see, this is really boiling and bubbling away here, which I'm very happy with. So I'm going to turn off that heat. And then I just want to let that sit. So what you're looking to do at this stage is to let it sit for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, up to a couple of hours, so that those flavours are really infusing. And you can decide that on the flavour, but also how much time you have. I really want these tips to be really quick and easy, so it is something that you can add into your already busy weekly routine, rather than feeling like you've got to spend the whole weekend at home cooking. I want you to use these quick kind of waste hacks, I guess, as part of what you're already doing. So I'm just going to pop that to the side and let that develop and flavour. Now, I don't know if you can see in here, but it's looking quite glossy and rich and thick. I'm just going to pour it back into here. You'll see how the colour has gone a little bit more yellow. I'm going to keep a few of those peppercorns and allspice berries actually in the bottle because they look really pretty as well. If you wanted it to be a bit spicy, it would be nice to pop a whole little chili in there as well. I've gone for more of a syrup bottle or a Worcestershire or Tabasco bottle for this one. Now, if you found this syrup was a little bit too thin, it hadn't thickened up again, you would pour it back into a saucepan, bring that up to boil, and really let that boil and thicken until it's the consistency that you like. So I'm going to pour this in, letting a few of those spices go through. The longer you cook this, the darker and richer and thicker it will become as well. Awesome. And then I'm going to pop that lid on top. What we're doing is using up an entire pineapple and then making sure that that skin gets turned into something else as well. With all your cooking at home, I'd really like you to think about using everything, about starting to understand the parts of the vegetables or the fruits that normally you throw away without thinking about them. I think this is a great way to start making more sustainable choices in your kitchen, and I think at this time of year, we really need to be mindful about how much waste we're creating. I hope that helps. I really recommend making it for your friends. Thanks so much. Bye.